أنتم الذين بالمسيح تمتم المسيح قد لبستم Hallelujah. Hello again, listening audience. Good to be back with you. For me, this is a challenge and it's fun. And I want to continue this discussion. And then, as I said, it may do it in 3 parts. We'll see. Last week, one part of the world was celebrating the U.S. Embassy move to Jerusalem. When that was first announced, moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, I thought for sure the corollary would have been, and East Jerusalem will be the capital for the Palestinian state. And I thought to myself, wow, if he goes on to that next step, that's going to be quite an intelligent move. But that never happened. That never happened. And part of this whole idea comes from born-again Christians that believe that the rapture is taking place in Jerusalem. And I also wonder, how does the Jewish community, although they are very close to the evangelical movement because of their pro Israel and pro Jerusalem position, do they not understand that these evangelicals believe that everyone will be converted to Christianity, that the Jews will be converted and the rapture will take place and they'll be lifted up to heaven? Listen, we all know that Israel is here to stay. There's no argument about that. Although, when you think about it, it's the only total political religious state defined by Judaism, parallel to Saudi Arabia, being an Islamic state. So you have two Vatican-like centers outside of Rome. It's okay, we know that it's been mandated by the United Nations, 1948, that it exists. But does it have to exist at the expense of the Palestinian people that were there for centuries? While they were celebrating the opening of the embassy, soldiers were killing Palestinians that were protesting the West Bank. You mean to tell me that protesters have to be shot? There was a doctor who came in to help with the injured who was shot in the legs. They were shot in the back. They were slaughtered. the United Nations is asking for an inquiry as to the overreaction of the military against the protesters. And Mr. Pierre Trudeau, who got his start in our church, actually. That was his first office, was at St. George. And who knows the dynamics of the Middle East. Flip-flopped yesterday saying there was no need for there to be a United Nations inquiry as to the slaughter of innocent victims, of children. I mean, we have protesters here in the United States. Do we shoot them dead? My God, there's more protesters going on today than I've ever seen in my life. Is there an army shooting them for protesting? Why are they protesting, one might ask? Because it's a modern apartheid. Tear down the wall in Berlin and build one in Israel. There's a movie called The Lemon Tree, where a wall was built in the middle of a widow's lemon tree farm, and how what she had to do to get to her lemon tree. They built a wall. I know that there are issues on both sides. There are no innocents. There are no innocents. But the Palestinian people do deserve to have a homeland. And their land does not have to be appropriated inch by inch by inch. Homes being torn down. People being kicked out. One would think, after what happened to Jews during the Hitler period, they would be sensitive to the plight of the indigenous people. Don't forget that the majority of the people who are in Israel today have come from the West. And pushing out the indigenous, the Arabs, Christians and Jews coexisted peacefully. Go to an Arab or a Jewish wedding. You all know which is which, because our traditions are all the same. Indigenous Jews speak Arabic as the Arabs speak Hebrew. They're Semitic peoples. They say that we are anti-Semitic if we're against Israel or Zionism, which is a political movement. How can Semites be anti themselves? Indigenous Jews and indigenous Arabs are all Semitic people that belong to the land. The land is theirs. And the Christian church the Christian church which is shrinking daily because of the abuses against Christians in that region of the world. It's not all Islamic instigated. There's almost quote unquote a plot to empty the land of the Christians, the indigenous Christians, where there flourished millions, thousands and thousands and thousands of Arab Christians, the best educated people in the whole Middle East. Wherever they went after they left Palestine, you will find successful and articulate and educated peoples. But the problem being, what happened last week, it unleashed an unnecessary tumult. And there was no corollary peace plan to bring both peoples together in a two-state solution where they could live side by side. The late Metropolitan Philip proposed the United State of Palestine, or United State of the Holy Land rather, where they would all coexist under one roof together, since they're all peoples of the land and peoples of the book. The Palestinian plight is not a political issue any longer. It's a moral issue, a deeply moral issue, of which makes one deeply saddened to see those Palestinian camps there and in Lebanon. Golda Meir once said that they were people without a land and land without a people. That's not true. There are people of the land, and they deserve to have their land. And I'm saddened that our two governments couldn't come together and find a solution for the broken people of that area. Pray for peace in the Middle East. Pray for peoples of the Middle East. All sides need your prayers. All sides have wounds. All sides have sins. And all sides need peace for future generations to thrive. God bless you.